Welcome to the second Charging Conference. Brook eConnect is happy to take part in the panel discussion about the topic, Is Europe ready for e-trucks?
Interesting solution like MCS. Where are you now?
Yes, I believe we are. We have projected this 1.5 years. So what you see outside here is the distribution truck that we have. So it's up to 29 ton, and we have also just recently launched our next model that is going into the regional haulage. So then we will go up to 600 kilowatt hours of that and up to 375 kilowatts of charging. So we believe in battery electric vehicles for heavy duty vehicles as our main component to solve the CO2 question, and we also see that this total cost of operation compared to ICE will be within this decade, depending on application. So clearly this will happen, and the question is more, how can we make this go fast? We need to change quite a lot. It's not only about the vehicle anymore, it's how we sell systems. It's a system change for our customers with quite a lot of other risks and uncertainties, and that's where we come in and try to help them with a complete solution.
Why do we need cable, not charging infrastructure with pantograph or wireless? Patrick?
Yeah, for us it's like that we made 2 years ago in the Charging Conference in America, the first steps behind them, and it was really successfully for these 3,000 amps. And for us was the reason that we do this in several steps. One step will be this for the 1,000 amps, the second milestone will be this 1,250, and the end goal will be these 2,000 amps. And we know what we have to do. We are in the developing phase of the cables and the connectors, and we are quite sure that we have the right products for the right time.
So you're ready?
Yes.
What about software and developing this energy management? Is it easy to work with solutions that we will need 5 years or more?
To be honest, currently we use a lot of solutions ready for XCS because we struggle with the same problems in smaller scale. My company has been providing solutions for the e-bus markets, and e-buses sound like e-trucks. This is big vehicle and big battery. Firstly, we delivered a lot of charging stations with pantographs. There is not a cable, but we deal with the same problem. A lot of energy in short time must be delivered to the vehicle. And of course, almost all the time we have problem with the maximum power from the grid. And for that, we have solution based on smart charging. Some of our clients, customers, use our solution based on, of course, on standards. This is very important, on ISO specification, on OCP standard, and we deal with problem with maximum power on each output, and decided it using more and more sophisticated algorithms. Based on schedule, based on demand, for example, with priorities, and it is possible. And I think this solution must be delivered, must be used in the future for MCS.
You have connection with all the car and truck manufacturers. Are they ready?
Yes, they are, definitely. And I was just going to answer this question. Everybody, all manufacturers are signed up to this transition to zero emission. Or basically, what is diesel today will be replaced over the next years with zero emission vehicles, with zero emission technologies. And all manufacturers either have already the vehicles on the road, starting with regional deliveries applications and slowly getting into, or rather swiftly actually getting into the long-haul segment, or they are in the final stages before series production. But this is not to say, if I may add this, that we're underestimating the challenge. A lot of things, this is a huge, complex challenge. Pieces of the puzzle have to fall into place to make this happen as swiftly as we need to make it happen. The ambition of vehicle manufacturers is there. Vehicles are there, beginning to become available. So vehicles are not the bottleneck. That's one of the messages. But we need different pieces of the puzzle to fall into place, infrastructure being one of them.
Personal electric cars is really beginning to start discussion how the ecosystem will change. Conversation, we need a deep dialogue. Are the regulators or the politicians ready to discuss this subject?
They're definitely ready to discuss this, sometimes too long, or more often than not too long, and not with the desired outcomes. But one thing I love and really like about the commercial vehicle industry, transport and logistics, is it's a boring business. It's very simple and very exciting at the same time, but boring in the context that it's all about numbers. It has to make sense from a business perspective. When the zero-emission technologies, when battery electric vehicles are the better choice, the more profitable choice for our customers, then things will happen very swiftly. As the battery electric vehicles are cheaper to operate, they're easy to charge, everyone will want them. It's a business case. And this is what policymakers need to understand, that it's not about pushing one side of this market too far or too fast, but rather ensure that all the pieces are moving as swiftly as possible. And in the end, last sentence, we don't want this to become a planned transition, a planned economy. This has to be a business for everyone involved, as it is today. The difference is that CO2, today, the CO2 emissions don't matter in anyone's calculation. But they do matter for us as a society. That's why we need to change this. We need this shift in mindset and shift as swiftly as we can to the alternatives.
We have truck, we have customers. Do they know what do they need can do for them?
Yes, it's an excellent question, because for our customers, of course, the vehicle is the most important part, but as soon as they know the price, availability, and when they come, half of the questions are around charging and infrastructure. So we have seen that we need to help in that. So we have consultative sales and also can do analysis of fleet data from our vehicles. So you can do energy calculation on the vehicles, charging need, windows, and so on, and do that. And we see that this is really needed to do an electrification journey for these customers. It will not go overnight, so no one will go 100% day one, but they need to develop that, and I think that's what we see, is that quite a lot of companies have a demand today. They are willing to go into this and learn and to see what the next step is. So we are really working on two horizons. One is to help customers today and start learning. But we also need to look at the longer term. What does it mean for the grid long term, and prepare for that. So you have these two planning horizons at the same time, and the feedback loop between those are really important. So I think quite a lot of the experience is that people need to have another mindset and understand that this is actually possible. That's a big start, and then we can go to understand together how we solve that.
Your charging cable, your charging infrastructure is pretty unique, and I believe that you need to translate somehow this technology.
The main task is that we are this with the customer together, because we know that our products with these cooled and uncooled versions have the highest standard, with the CCS1 and CCS2 standard. We know what we have to do for these megawatt charging activities, and for that this will be a combination. We have to discuss with the trucks communications. We have to discuss with the loading infrastructure, and this will be a combination of that. We have to develop together, and then you will get a final goal. Otherwise, you have no chance, because like the Fraunhofer Activities Institute already mentioned, it has to be in this next 3 years. But we have to do it together, with Scania, with Ekoenergetyka together as a common goal.
Is it easy to have it on your own hand, independently, without any support, government support?
us, it's the main goal is the customer. It's like a man or a woman who have not a heavy product behind them, have to install them, and it doesn't matter if it's a truck, it's a vessel, it's an industrial application. Either the customer wish it's not too heavy, it's a comfortable activity and a fast charging. This is the main goal of all of them. And I think all of us have the same situation in that, and we see that it will be until 2025 this megawatt charging. But in the next weeks and months, the CCS1 and CCS2 will be the step to this megawatt charging.
From our perspective, we see that only to be here and to be able to talk to you about that our S-curve is just behind the pass-curve, and this is a great opportunity to dig into this. And I would say we have quite a lot of in common, CCS today, and the same kind of way of working and so on. So that is something we want to build on and to be able to scale. And then we have uptime, reliability, ease of use will be even more important in our business. So I think how we use software, how we make it easy, reliable will be a key for our business to business.
If I can add, reliability is the most important topic. When I read an article about the state of charging public infrastructure in South California, and almost 30% of charge points is still out of order, this is not acceptable for the transport of goods and people. Reliability is one of the key points, and technology behind them must deal with this problem. Using redundancy, using modular construction, building good service network, and still systems which coordinate everything.
So building this ecosystem with so different companies, it's pretty hard, I think.
It's challenging. It's complex. It's like it's not happening overnight. And just to add on one thing that Patrick said earlier, this is about, of course, it's about innovation. I think all of us have a very clear picture of what needs to happen to make this happen. Vehicles, infrastructure, and cost parity. It's very simple. But all of this needs to be in place at the same time. All of this needs to be a business for those involved. And all of this needs collaboration, cooperation. So it's not by, and this is also addressed to policymakers again, it's not about, giving one simple answer. We have the AFIR, the Alternative Fuel Infrastructure Regulation, now everything is solved. No, it's not. Because we need the permits to actually get the charging stations in place. Vehicles will have to be available. One is outside, but they will have to be financed. They're a lot more expensive than the usual ones. So a lot of things need to be in place. And this is not going to happen overnight. It can happen really swiftly. And in order to cut the CO2 emissions, it has to happen. It requires quite some effort from everyone involved.